So excited to share these makeup tips with you that you may not have heard of. Some of these are actual game changers. Like, you are going to be shocked, especially when you try it yourself. So stay tuned because this video is about to blow your mind. Let's get started with the first tip. Now, as you can see, I don't have any kind of foundation on. The only thing that I have on is a little bit of concealer on my eyelids, a bit of mascara, and my brows are done. That's it. Everywhere else, there's nothing on other than my skincare. The first tip that I wanted to share with you is really cool because I feel like it's gonna appeal to a lot of people, especially people who don't want to look like they're wearing a lot, or concealer, you know, usually they find concealer to be quite heavy or, you know, just cakey on the under eyes, especially if you have mature skin as well. This is great. It's creating your own nourishing concealer. So what this is basically using your eye cream that you use, which I currently have the Shiseido Future Solutions LX Ultimate Brilliance Eye Cream. And this is a really, really super nourishing and hydrating eye cream. And I get a little bit of this just on my finger and then on the back of my hand like that. And then what I do is get my concealer, which is my Tarte Medium Honey, so 35H. And I basically put a really small amount of that at the back of my hand. So I've got two now. You can see I've got a bit of concealer and I've got a bit of my eye cream. Now, the reason I'm using this specific concealer is because it gives me amazing coverage, and I do like how it kind of self-sets as well a little bit. I know that I can actually make that a lot more hydrating for me, so it doesn't look or feel as heavy or as cakey. So what I'm gonna do now is mix the two together, and this is just gonna make it a lot more hydrating for me. By the way, before we actually apply this, I would suggest already having a bit of eye cream on its own, only because then you've already got your eye cream on and then you go over, you're not going straight in with makeup. So now that we've got this mixed in on the back of my hand, I'm gonna, with my finger, just apply this around here, just where I can see the darkness. A lot of people do use their fingers for coverage, like applying concealer, which is absolutely fine. It's also a great way to just kind of like cover up dark circles or anywhere that you feel that you've got a bit of darkness. Honestly, Tarte Shape Tape Concealer has never felt so hydrating or light. So this is a really good way to get that kind of like nice natural finish without it looking heavy. But you also know it is kind of good for that area and it's hydrating the under eye area. So I just like to layer it wherever I feel that I need a bit of extra coverage. I'm okay with this now. I feel like I've got enough coverage because I am going to be applying foundation as well. Now, in order to set this, the way that I would suggest doing that is to just use your normal powder as you usually would. Like, use a brush, because I feel like pressing it in with a powder puff is going to probably look a bit cakey. So you can use like a Real Technique setting brush and a loose powder or a pressed powder and just press onto the under eye area, and that in itself is going to set it and also help to like keep those creases at bay. So next tip is really, really fun. So this is basically using a foundation with a powder and mixing the two. So what I'm going to be doing is using my Makeup Forever Ultra HD setting powder in Light Banana, and I'm going to get some of this on in the palm of my hand. You can see I've got some there, not a lot, just a little bit. Now I'm gonna get my foundation. This is a light to medium coverage foundation. It's very fluid. This is the Anastasia Luminous Foundation. Now what I'm gonna do is just put a pump of this into the palm of my hand here. Sorry, I don't wanna like fully go like that because it's just gonna go everywhere. And then I am basically gonna mix this. And this is gonna make my foundation less drippy for a start. So like, can you see it started to like mix in there? I'm just gonna wipe my finger on a wet wipe because that foundation is super drippy. Like, it just literally just drips, right? By mixing it in with some of the setting powder, I'm gonna go with my brush. So this brush is my Sigma F85 brush. The coverage is gonna be even more, way more coverage than what it was before. And it is gonna set in such an amazing way on the skin. And honestly, this makes your skin look flawless, like genuinely. I can't wait for you to try this one because it's pretty insane. Look at that. Just look at what has just happened to my skin. Isn't it crazy? It's just given me the most amazing flawless finish. And like, a little goes a long way. So like, I don't need to go in with an extra pump. I don't need to do another mixture. Like, you'll be honestly so surprised at how much like one pump with the setting powder. Like I would put it, the ratio is 50-50 by the way, but if you want more coverage and you want it to be a little bit more opaque, apply more powder. So like mix more powder into it. If you want it to be not so opaque and a little bit more fluid, but not as fluid as it is in the bottle, then obviously a little bit less fat powder. But this will stay put. This genuinely will stay put. And I also do find that a lot of you are not going to need powder with this because it really does set so perfectly. Now what I want to do is take a little bit over my under eye area. So I'm going to get my sponge and just get whatever's left on my hand and just take it under my eyes as well so we can just get that set. Honestly, I can't wait for you to try this because it's so amazing in terms of the finish that it gives you. It gives you just such a flawless finish. So at this point, you could either set it with a dusting of powder, because I honestly wouldn't actually bake with this, because this sets your makeup perfectly. Like, honestly, I feel like a lot of you, if you don't generally wear a lot of powder, like to set your makeup, and some people don't at all, this is amazing for you. But I would go in with a little bit of powder, dust it on just to, you know, as that final step if you don't want to add anything else. But I'm not going to do that at the moment because I do want to show you the next tip. And the next tip is a certain application process, which I personally think sits better than a normal sponge, especially if you're using a brush. This is using a powder puff and applying your cream blush with it. I'm going to take some of my cream blush. This is my Beauty Bay liquid blush in Blooming, which is this like bright pink. And I'm going to get my puff, and it's on the back of my hand there. Can you see it? We're going to really just get that colour right into the puff, right? I don't want to go like that and that. I really want to get it into the puff, and it gives me the most amazing kind of airbrushed finish. Like there's no patchiness. There's no like, oh, there's a massive blob of cream liquid blush. Amazing. Honestly, the finish of this is insane. I have always said how much I love powder puffs. Powder puffs are just insane. They give you the best finish. Look at that. Can we just talk about that? The coverage and like how easy it is to blend in. It's like an airbrushed finish. I love it. It's just a much better finish than a sponge, because I feel like with a sponge, it starts lifting other kind of makeup off. And I feel like when you use a powder puff, it just kind of like melts it into the product and everything else that's already on your skin stays intact. So my next tip is actually letting everything crease. So letting your under eyes crease, letting the creasing appear anywhere where it usually actually appears. So this is before we actually set it with powder. At this point, you want to make sure that you kind of like make as many facial expressions as you want, like, you know, smile, squint, like anything that you need to do, and, you know, so do whatever you need. I usually get the creasing. I don't usually get it on my under eyes because I really set that properly, but like I take out all the creasing first before I set. But I do usually get it around here and sometimes here because I have this little line here. Can you see? Like the top, my upper lip. So I kind of like let that kind of crease up. So I don't mind about the facial expressions. We can just make as many as we want. I know I look ridiculous right now, but we're gonna let those kind of facial expressions kind of like scrunch up all the makeup everywhere, even if you have it on the under eyes, because I feel like a lot of you do get that creasing on the under eyes because of the comments that I see. So what we want to do now is we want to take out the product that is sitting in all those creases. So this is where you don't want to get a product that already has any product on it. So like you don't want to get a sponge because you've probably used that to put your concealer or foundation on. You're just like kind of like possibly adding more product. You also don't want to get a brush because you might kind of like distort anything that you've kind of done. Like, so I would suggest just getting a tissue, and we're literally just going to blot. I can see that I've got some creasing here. I'm just going to blot those areas. And then I'm going to fold up my tissue a little bit more, wrap it around my finger, and I'm just going to take out the creasing here. And the way I'm doing that is just blotting, and all it's doing is picking up the extra product that's sitting in the creases. Now what I also like to do at this point, when I've got rid of all the creasing, is I like to just go over my face with a tissue, because it picks up excess foundation that really doesn't need to be there, basically. So now at this point, you want to get your powder. I'm going to use my Real Techniques setting brush and just put it into my powder. This is my Makeup Forever powder, and I'm just going to set my under eyes. You can use a puff if you want to. I usually do, but I just want to show you with a brush so that you have the option. Okay, so now I'm going to get my bigger brush, which is my Real Tech. No, it's not. It's my Hourglass brush. I get confused. Dust that all over. That's done. That's literally set, and all the creases are out because we've got rid of them before we've actually set it. As you can see, the blush looks like you can still see it. It just looks like a very soft focus effect, and I love that. I love that you can create that. And I love the fact that we've got a nourishing concealer on the under eyes. Like, everything is looking so flawless right now. So what I want to do now is show you the last tip, which I absolutely love. I want a little bit of a color like on my lips, but I don't actually want to wear a product. Like, I don't actually want a product on my lips. I just want to kind of stick to a lip balm, but I want some color coming through, because I also don't want to wear a tinted lip balm. I just want to wear like a normal lip balm, so I don't have to worry about it kind of moving anywhere, if you see what I mean. Like, even if you wear a tinted lip balm, sometimes it can like move around and you feel like you got, you know, the color in other places. Like, so I really want to show you how you can get that color and just continue with your day just using a normal lip balm. Like, you don't even have to worry about the color going anywhere. So I'm going to use my liquid blush, same one I used earlier, and this is like a bright pink, by the way. I'll put this all over. Super bright. But the brighter it is, the better. I'm gonna show you why. This looks really bizarre with no lip liner, but we're gonna go with it. When did we ever do this without wearing lip liner, honestly? So we're gonna let that kind of sit there for a minute, let that dry up a little bit. I don't wanna remove it immediately, but what we're gonna do is let it dry, and then we're gonna kind of remove it. That's when we're gonna carry on with the rest of the tip. So let that dry. Just sit here for a few moments, let it do its thing. Okay, so I think we can remove this now. I've left it on for a minute or so. We're gonna get a tissue, and we're just gonna wipe. Don't get a wet wipe or anything, you just want a dry tissue. Okay, hopefully you can see it's left like this tint on my lip, but it is feeling a little bit dry. So at this point, you can use a lip balm or whatever you use. I like using lip oils, but this is my, I don't even know how you say it, but you know, it's on the screen. And I just apply this over my lips, and I don't have to worry about like lip color. I don't have to worry about that at all. If you want to, you can add a little bit of lip line. I'm gonna show you now. This is just my Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liner in Mocha. I just do it very lightly. That's it, literally. I don't have any color on my lips, but it looks like I have a slight tint there. Yeah, super, super easy for your lips, honestly. I feel like it just makes everything so much easier. Like, you don't have to worry about lipstick. You know that you've got a slight tint there. You also, it doesn't, like, you're not wearing anything. You're just wearing your comfortable lip balm or lip oil, whatever you use. Hopefully you've enjoyed these little tips that I've shown you. And, you know, maybe you have heard of some of them before, maybe you haven't. There's a chance that, you know, some people have done these tips before. I'm not saying that I've invented them at all, but you know, they're not as common. So I really wanted to kind of share this with you so that you can kind of try this yourself. Honestly, I genuinely feel like the concealer, the nourishing concealer, mixing it with your eye balm or your eye cream is a game changer, and the foundation in the loose setting powder is an absolute game changer. And by the way, you can use whatever setting powder you use. You can use a translucent one, even though I use like the colored one, which is light banana, it's fine. You can use a translucent one. So you could use this with your Laura Mercier setting powder or any drugstore loose setting powder that you use. It doesn't matter. If it's a loose setting powder, it's gonna work well. And use your foundation, which is maybe light coverage or super fluid, mix it in with it. Oh my God. It's like a recipe for success, because your skin is gonna look amazing, and you will be shocked at how it turns out. It's like all of a sudden you've made this like amazing, flawless airbrush style kind of texture of foundation. And yeah, it's just something I know that you're gonna love. Please don't forget, I do have an online publication called The Beauty Breakfast Club. Head on over and subscribe to that, because I write all of the newsletters myself. There's 3 newsletters that go out every single week without fail, super consistent. And you guys know I'm all about consistency. You've never missed a video on this channel. We have always made sure we've given you the best possible content. So you're gonna get that same kind of style over there on my online publication. And you can head on over and follow me on Instagram as well, and TikTok. I'm everywhere. So I'd love to see you guys there too. Now, wherever you are, sending you loads of love. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care and I'll see you soon.